The revolution will not be televised.
The revolution will be streamed live.
Yo.
Welcome back to another edition of Critical and Thinking. I'm Ian Harris.
Ty Barnett. How you feeling? How you feeling?
What's up?
Okay, so look.
Last time I didn't have you here.
No, I know. And thank you to the celebrity guest host who filled in for me.
Maurice.
Don't be trying to take my job. I'm trying to take my job. But I am I'm excited to be back. I was in Vegas.
Nice. Yeah, how'd that go?
Vegas was nice. You know what? I always forget the debauchery and everything that goes on in Vegas. I
thought I was supposed to stay there.
No. Well, you know what? They had the rodeo in town. So I'm not a big rodeo fan, you know, so but it was a sea of cowboy hats.
Oh, nice.
I have never seen so many cowboy hats in my life. The only other time I seen that many was when I was in Montana. So but no, it was great. I miss playing in Vegas. I do.
Usually you don't see them. You're running from them.
Yes.
So they're behind you.
Yes. And they had the lassos and shit like that. So I'm just kind of walking through like, hey, man, don't get too, happy with that fucking lasso, bro. But no, it was great. I had great times. Shout out to Esty and the Comedy Cellar for having me. I had a great time.
Is that a new place, by the way, the Comedy Cellar?
It is. It's new. It's open. It's at the Rio. And it's only been there 6 months.
Okay, how was it?
It was great. It's fucking awesome. You know what, dude? Here's the thing I always tell people about comedy, bro. As shitty and as hard as this business can be sometimes, when you're performing, and you know this, when you're performing and you're on that stage, dude, it's just an amazing fucking when they're feeling you, bro.
Right,
they're feeling you, it's just like, fuck, this is the best job on the planet.
So how was the crowds?
Crowds were great, man. You know what? Vegas, you get a mixture of everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like, it's almost like a cruise ship that's more drunk.
Yes.
With glitter.
Yes. You get a little bit of fucking everything. So I hope this is working well. Because are you getting the live feed? Because I'm
not on the live, so I'm just watching there.
Okay.
Looks like there's people on.
Yeah, people on there. I can't see you right now, so I'm trying to see you. I'm gonna put live on this and let's see if this is working. But this is only gonna get us from here.
Is that a new phone?
No, this is the same fucking phone. I don't, with technology. We got 5 people so far. What's up? How you guys feeling? Welcome to the show. We're talking about Vegas. If you ever play Vegas, then you know it's nice. If you're a fan of the Comedy Cellar, then you know the Comedy Cellar is like an iconic stage. It's like an iconic, like awesome stage.
Do you work the regular Comedy Cellar? I guess that's my question because I didn't.
The one in
New York, right?
Oh, there you go.
That might be you. But now we're getting backward feed. You gotta turn down your audio, homie.
Oh, there we go. See, this is how much I don't fucking see. How much I don't.
That's a ringtone. That's not media, though.
Oh, God damn it. Wait, can you hear? Wait, yeah, we good. We good.
All right.
So we got a lot of things to talk about this show. First of all, rest in peace. A big shout out to Penny Marshall.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm like, yeah, like that's a good thing.
It's crazy. And Ian doesn't know it, but I kind of know it. Shlamio, Shlamazo, I don't know the rest of it, but you know what I'm talking about. But she was, let me tell you something. Here's the thing about Penny Marshall, because I remember when I first saw her directing something, and I was like, wow. So she was not just, on camera talent. She was a great writer, great producer, great director. So she's gonna be missed, man. It's amazing though, because you grew up with these people,
yeah.
And to see that happen. Hey Kim, how you doing? Oh, good. There we go. This person. What up, Tony D? I think this is back a little ways, by the way. That's okay. That's okay. You in? You guys are in. So yeah, big shout out and a big rest in peace to and condolences to Penny Marshall and her family. Your legacy that's never going anywhere. What up, Sarge?
Here's the thing is you notice that whole group, that whole Happy Days crew.
Hey, wait, am I doing it right? Hey,
they are all. By the way, doesn't Michael Cohen? Every picture of Michael Cohen look like
the fawn?
He looks like the fawns got caught masturbating. Like every picture is him like. Hey?
I know. But you know what? And that whole the Lenny Squiggy, all of them people like
dude,
Sarge said he was close with her.
Name one of those that didn't go on to huge things aside from. I mean, there's a couple.
But there's no because
Donnie Most hasn't done a ton.
But
and what's her name? Joni.
Yeah, fucking Chachi. Fucking Chachi, man.
Chachi went on to be the Secretary of State or whatever he is right now.
Fucking asshole.
But no, but look, okay, so Ron Howard, like arguably one of the best directors, producers of all time. You have Penny Marshall, another great director, done so much stuff. Anson Williams, actually a huge television director. A lot of people thought Potsy.
Mike McKeon. Is that Michael McKeon?
Michael McKeon is amazing, and won an Academy Award for music.
Oh,
when they did the original song for A Mighty Wind, the Christopher Guest movie.
Yeah, he's actually Sarge is actually right. He said those shows made ABC. Isn't it something like when these shows started? Like they started networks, kind of like.
Dude, Happy Days was on forever.
Yeah,
I mean, when I think back about it, it's probably like 4 seasons. But you know, when you compare the Simpsons 30 seasons, but still, like it was on for a long time, like my entire childhood, and then syndication.
You literally watched Joni grow up. Like you watched her get married. You watched, you know, you didn't see the divorce proceedings or anything like that, but which would have been interesting.
Yeah,
you ain't getting you only getting half of this shit, Joni.
And then I would look at Pat Morita.
Yeah,
Arnold, right? He went on to some big
that's
stuff.
I've totally forgot. Robin Williams.
Robin Williams started. Well, you know how many. This is something I always talk about. You know, think about how many spinoffs there were of Happy Days. So you had Happy Days. You had Laverne and Shirley. You had Mork and Mindy because Mork was
he just played the alien that came in,
right? And they gave him a show.
That's right.
Joni Loves Chachi, and I feel that there's another Happy Days spinoff somewhere. There's like 4 or 5 Happy Days spinoffs. It's crazy how many spinoffs they did. I mean, Laverne and Shirley was hugely popular. Mork and Mindy was hugely popular.
Didn't something come from? I know something else that came from there because I remember the cook Alf was it Al. The cook had his own kind of, not his own show, but he had like a prominent role on another show. The Odd Couple. Oh, wow. Were they the first spinoff? Sorry, they were the first spinoffs.
I think he's talking about, I think he's talking about, unless he's talking about, well, you have to chime in there, Sarge. I don't know if you're talking about with Odd Couple a spinoff or it was or another ABC.
No, he was saying that there's so many spinoffs that no, it was one of the first spinoffs. So shout out to
I didn't know Fonzie had a spinoff.
Shout out to Penny Marshall, and again, so talented. You know what's crazy, dude? And I always tell people this, man. This business, like, it's not like you can just do one thing in this business anymore. Like you have to be able to do so much shit. Like Ian, a lot of people don't know, like he does impressions as well, but this motherfucker right here is an amazing video editor. Like my first demo reel, this dude did right here. And so like you have to learn all these different things. So for Penny Marshall to be able to be on camera talent and then get behind the camera and to have that same vision. And you know,
a League of Their Own.
Oh, that's right. She
directed that. That's a great movie.
That's right. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball. So let me ask you this, because you did this before me. How hard do you think it is to do that transition from being on camera to now you're behind the camera and you're directing something, knowing you have the vision as an on-camera talent? How hard do you think that was to make that transition for her?
Say again?
To make the, because you know when you're on camera, you're doing it. Someone's telling you, "Hey, Ian, here's the scene. Do this."
Right.
But when because I know you directed your own movie, It Burns When I Laugh, and all that stuff. Was it harder for you to kind of just let them do their thing or being behind the camera? Because for Penny, I'm pretty sure she has so much talent as an on-camera talent, but to be behind the scenes, okay, this is my vision. I want you guys to do this exactly like this. Yeah. This is what I want to see.
You know, I think it's hard because it's hard 2 ways. Well, everything I've ever done is no budget. So I was just complaining about this the other day because I did a little demo reel thing for my daughter. And
good call, Sarge.
Little time. We have a little bit of time, and I'm getting everything for free. So I don't always get what I want. And I found that in my first couple films I did. Right. Because I'm like, I'm doing this for no budget, and these people are coming and spending 12 hours a day for free. So it's like I don't feel like I could push them the way I wanted. Right. So a lot of times I wasn't as forceful as I needed to be. But then I've been on other sets.
No craft services?
Yeah.
No craft services?
But then I've been on other sets where I admire the guy. I think he's an asshole or she's an asshole. Because it's like, we're working here for free, and the person's like, it's not right, do it again. And I'm like, but you know what? That's what you need to get it done. Yeah. So you have to be forceful, but I've gotten better at getting what I want. But I also noticed that I think directing, it's probably why I like training fighters. It's like directing. It's the same thing. Every actor, every fighter has a different thing that makes them work. Yep. Like you always hear these stories about Spielberg going up and like, what was the one that the kid from the was the Empire of the Sun or the Last Emperor? I can't remember which one. One of those ones where the Last Emperor, where the kid had to cry, and apparently he told the guy to actually smack, or the one to actually smack the kid.
Wow.
And then the kid was complaining like, she actually smacked me. He's like, what? She actually smacked you? And then he went over to her and was like, do it a little harder. What? And then same thing. The one with Oprah Winfrey, Color Purple.
Color Purple.
She didn't know that they were gonna
smack the shit out of her?
Taunt her and like that bad. She didn't know. So that was like real emotion of her.
I was like, who's that person? I forget. I got to see what that person like. I want you to go in and make Oprah feel like shit.
Right, exactly.
Right? I want you to say all of this shit about her right here. Get really personal.
Remember,
like,
though, that was before Oprah was really that big.
It's like, well, I don't think they had Weight Watchers back in that day. I don't think I should say that. But I think, honest. Oh, by the way, hey, this is the you see this? This is the Critical and Thinking logo. Those are actual faces right there. You know what I'm saying? You can see by the expressions on our faces that we don't believe half of the shit you guys are fucking talking about in this society.
You don't usually wear a hat though, do you?
I know. I told Ian, hey, I told Ian, I was like, I ran into somebody that I know in the business for a long time, like a long time. I've known this dude, but you know, he's on the agency side or whatever, management side. And I ran into him just on the street, and the guy was like, "Oh, hey, Ty, I didn't recognize you. You don't normally wear a hat." And I'm like, only 99.9% of the time, motherfucker. But that's Hollywood shit for you. But it's fine. Well, unless I'm acting, I got to be honest. If I'm on camera and they ask me on camera, which actually is most of the stuff,
yeah,
I've only done.
Can't wear a hat on.
No, I've only done 2 things.
I didn't recognize you in a couple commercials because I'm like,
I know,
not, without the hat.
Exactly, and that's what I said. Like, I've only done 2 things.
Like, I didn't know Ty was blonde.
It's actually I have long flowing hair. So it's always a trip to me whenever, but I always chalk that in the category of Hollywood shit.
But yeah, you know, back to the acting, I should ask you because I've had this where I always think, coming from a comedy background, I work with a lot of comics, and some comics, they don't even want to stick to the script, and I'm like, look, here's the point. You got to say this line, you got to say this line because this gets us in, this gets us out, or this is the point that we need to make for this scene. Right. Whatever else you want to do, go for it. And some people are brilliant. Other actors that don't come from comedy, I threw that at them and they panicked. Well, and I'm like, oh, you don't like the improv? They're like, give me the script. I just need to know what I need to say. No,
because and part of the reason why, and that's why it's harder for comedians when you go in and you read a script. And I know other people have seen this before. I hear that on the feed. Sarge, especially, I know you know this because me and Sarge had a really good conversation when we worked together in Israel. Shout out to Avi Lieberman, by the way. Is that when you're a comedian and you see the words and someone's telling you this is where the funny is, if you are that person, you're like, but I could do something else with it. I'm not saying that necessarily for this, but I'm saying it's harder for that as opposed to an actor who's not really prepared to improv. They're like, just tell me, give me the words specifically. Yeah. Whereas comedians, and you know this, like you'll be like, we've had this before where we read something and we're like, oh man, it'd be kind of cool if they did this. Right. So I think it's easier for us to make that transition.
Because as a comedian, you're the writer, director, producer, and a star of your movie on stage every night. Yes. That's what it is. You know, when I did a little short film, we had Tom Kenny, who is amazing. SpongeBob, amazing comedian, improv actor. And I just said, I said, can we get the script once? And let's just get it, like, we got it once or twice.
Let's get one clean with the script, and then we can.
And then I'm like, and then I had like 40 minutes that I had to try to cut down because everything was so damn funny. But that dude was like making up songs on the spot. Like,
oh my god!
The little short was about a guy who was Saturday Night Live stole it, by the way, a year ago. But about a guy who sang about
Saturday Night Live stole something.
Yeah, I know. I didn't write it. Kevin Kataoka wrote it. It was great. Called The Paul Decker Story. If you get a chance, check it out. But it's a mockumentary about a guy, 60s teen idol, who sings about numbers, and everyone thinks he's a pedophile. Anyway, he Tom was just like talking about the songs. Yeah, so there was, and there was this one song we scrapped, and he just starts going 16 wagon, da, 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 and he starts singing a song like some old 60s song, and he gets to like, he gets like 3 or 4 into those, and then he's like, yeah, I don't know, I can't remember all the lyrics, but it's like, I'm like, how the hell did he get that far? You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing to me that he can, but his improving anyway, the whole point is his improving was so good that I had too much material to work with.
Oh wow!
At the end, I had to find what like the best parts.
The best of the improv.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, you know, like I do my web series. This is the bullshit I'm talking about. And what I found is, like, when I first started doing it, I started doing it just like, let me turn on the camera and go.
Right.
And then I found, like, sometimes you'll get moments where it's cool, but what the hard part for me was, like you said, it'd be so many different things. It'd be so much shit to edit.
Right.
To where I was like, I really just got to write this out. And then when I wrote stuff out, I found like, okay, at least it has a structure, but you still have those moments where you're like, nah, you know, let me just kind of play around with this. I find myself now when I'll record something, I'm like, okay, cool. We got the solid base. Now let's just do one for fun. Right. You know what I'm saying? Let's just get the extra stuff in there. But see, like, you also, you know, the fact that you know editing shortcuts. Like, I don't. Like, I got to streamline that shit as much as possible. Right. I don't want to have like 8 million different batches of footage and shit and have to do that. So, again, we got a few things to cover in this time. We're not going to get too serious on a lot of shit, but we will tell you this. It's amazing. What up, John? How you doing? I'm trying to see from a distance. You know what I realized, bro? I think I need glasses now. Fuck. I think I need glasses now.
You know what? Speaking of Hollywood moments, I didn't used to wear glasses. And if you remember,
what up, JP?
Actually, it was actually one of your old
fuck you, Sarge.
Remember the other people can't. Says your act needs editing.
Sarge Pigman says my act needs editing, but he's also a cool dude. He's an asshole as well, bro.
But when years ago, so I didn't need glasses. I got glasses because one eye was a little bad and I needed to see at night. Okay, and I went to the Improv and I forgot that I had the glasses on because I had to drive there. And I did a set at the Improv. I did the same set, the same 10-minute I used to always do back then. Like I had like 2 or 3 10-minute sets that I'd rotate in, right? Did the same set I always do, but I forgot that I wore my glasses on stage. And I get off stage and about 8 people come up to me. They're like, hey, that's a good look for you, or whatever. And 3 or 4 different people said, great set, really smart tonight.
Hilarious.
And you remember your old Sherry, your old manager? Mm-hmm. She was there that night. I think you were on the same show. And she said something like, she goes, your act, you know, I don't remember your act being that well written. It's really well written. and she's like, it's so smart. And I was like, she goes,
you mean because of these glasses?
Yeah. She said, is there something? She goes, I said, same act. I go, I'm just wearing glasses. She goes, oh, that's right. You didn't wear glasses. We had a whole conversation about, wow, the perception of now that I'm wearing, without glasses, I look like an angry fucking guy, but with glasses, I make
you know what's crazy is that back in the day, you know, there used to be this trend, like in the 90s. If you out there and you remember the trend where you put on glasses even though you didn't need glasses,
fake glasses,
but you wanted to look more intellectual. It was a hot thing for a minute, so I had like 4 or 5 pairs of glasses that were not prescription that we just have on. We go to the nightclub and shit, and be like, "What's up?" Now I think I might actually need real glasses. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still can read stuff like that, but I can tell stuff from a distance. I was like, oh man, I really gotta, you know.
Well, then you need to let your beard grow out and get really gray, and then you can just start doing alt rooms or something.
That's right. That's right. I'm almost I'm a sitcom. I'm glasses and a beard from away from a sitcom. Close. It's coming. I'm just got to let it get to about right here in the small glasses.
That's the other one. I love all that stuff now, because nerd culture is big. So now they just get like Playboy models and they put them in glasses and they're like, nerd girl. It's like, no, you're not.
Stop it. Stop it.
It's like, I love nerds. No, you don't. You like a guy who saw Star Wars once. That's not really, that's not the same thing as a nerd.
Exactly. Which,
you don't want somebody close talking to you. Hi, yes, I was wondering.
Then just put the tape on. Just put the tape in the middle of the thing here. So, we won't get too deep into a lot of other stuff, but I will tell you this: a lot of stuff in the government is getting crazy as fuck.
I wonder. I wonder if Trump's going down. I don't know that they're gonna. I want to talk about that actually. Is he? A lot of people have been talking. A lot of people don't want him impeached because they don't think we have the votes. We need 20 Republicans to jump the line in order to get him.
That won't happen.
It probably won't happen. And then when somebody gets impeached and they don't get removed, then a lot of times that boosts their popularity, so we don't want his popularity boost.
Which is weird.
But yeah,
that it actually works for you. Hey, this dude committed crimes against the government, but hey,
but they'll say, but see, he obviously didn't do it because he didn't get removed from office. That's what they say.
No.
But he could resign, although a lot of people are saying that there's a couple people out there saying that he's probably going to resign, but I think he's too much of a narcissist.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing.
I just can't imagine him.
He's not going to give up.
Even to save face, I don't. Even if that's the thing that would make him look better, he wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't do it. And his was crazy about it. And this is why I say we won't spend a whole lot of time on this because, a lot of stuff is just already working in motion. And if anybody else is out there, let me ask you this question. It is people out there. Do you think the next person that's president, do you think we will hold them to a higher standard, or do you think that since the bar has been so lowered and we let so much shit go, do you think that the next person coming in is going to have an easier time or a harder time? Because right now, Beto, they did a poll and they said, actually still the number one person right now. They did a, poll. Beto's third.
He'll beat anybody.
But they said Biden. There's Biden, and I forgot who was second.
Their polls are bullshit. Biden, come on, Biden's going to be 830 by the time. Biden and Sanders. I like Biden. Okay, I love Sanders. I got berated online because I said by the time Sanders takes off, he's going to be like 84 or something like that. It's like. And then people are like, yeah, but he's still vibrant. I don't want an 84 nobody. It's like, come on. I don't want someone that close to.
Wait, how does he now?
I don't know. I don't know if he's 84. He's gonna be 80 or something like. He's like in his late 70s right now.
Oh wow.
So we're talking another 2 years and then 3 years before he takes office. He's gonna be pushing 80. 78, 79.
Rough. That's rough, man. You better start cut out the beef right now.
And people
cut out all the extra stuff.
Hillary's that old and Trump's that old. Yeah, I don't want them either. Like,
now, what's your name? He's 71.
Who, Trump?
Trump is 71.
Yeah, I mean, but the point is that he's. I would like to have somebody younger.
Yeah,
I don't want a fucking 40-year-old.
I want another person in there that can play sports.
Right.
Look at Barack. Barack was dunking on motherfuckers back in the day.
But I think
he wasn't.
I think Beto would be cool. I think there's a few other people out there that we could get. I think Beto has something about him that I think by the time it comes around, the momentum, he's going to be the number one. I really feel.
I think so, man. I think he should run because
and have like Kamala Harris or have a female as his vice president.
Oh, that'd be
how about a black female vice president, Kamala Harris, and then after 8 years, she can run.
That would be so dope.
And then we get
you know. The one thing I will tell you, like, don't put Oprah in there. Like, I know a lot of people like to say it because Oprah can tell you what book to read. But, I don't think that. I mean, I just honestly feel like we want people in government that actually know government, because you see what happens when you have somebody in government that don't know shit.
And also,
about
she does a lot. She's really like she's Dr. Oz and Deepak show. She's into a bunch of fucking nutty shit.
Yeah. What up, Timothy?
And also, what would she be?
I'm trying out my eyes still to make sure they still work.
And then she's gonna and you get an audit, and you get an audit, and you.
Well, like I said, man, hopefully at this point, man, we understand the mistakes that have been made in this time. But, here's what's crazy, dude.
But here's the thing. You're asking if the bar's going to get higher or lower. I think it's good and bad. I think the good side is that, I don't know, they're fucking hypocrites. Who knows? The right wing has always been the ones that were like, we're family values.
Yeah, the party of law and order.
Language, this, that, blah, 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 blah. Well, now they can't bitch about Beto saying, "Oh, these guys work so fucking hard."
No. But that's what I'm saying.
They can never bitch about that again. So on the one hand, we can just be ourselves now and be like, I think Barack could have cut. If Barack was running now, he'd be like, "Yeah, well, fuck it, bitches." Like, you know what I mean? He could say whatever the fuck. He wouldn't have to pretend.
Fuck you, bitches.
He wouldn't have to be like Mr. Presidential.
No, you
which
don't
is
have to be
good.
that
But I
anymore.
don't think that we can get any lower. I mean, who are we going to get? I mean, at this point,
no, we still have to maintain some semblance of
I'm Larry H. Parker, and I will fight.
Hilarious. But we still have to maintain some semblance of decorum. That definitely still has to be there. Like, you can't go all out. Like, let me tell you, as a parent, and you know this as well because you have a daughter. As a parent, like, you always have to maintain some level of a board. What's the word I'm looking for? When you have a board, not a border. you know what I mean? When you have not restrictions, why can't I think of this fucking word? But there's a certain level where you say, okay, we don't cross that line because I'm the parent. Example, like I won't drink and get fucked up in front of my kids because I don't want my kids to see me that way.
Parameters, boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries, that's the word. God damn it. So there has to be these boundaries that are set, and I think with the office of president and anything, it's still held to a higher standard. So let's say, for example, when we talk about Bush and all of the people that were remembering Bush was not a great person, like that, you know, but he was not a horrible human being.
Right.
Like his policies were rough. You know, they fucked up a lot of people. Just same thing with Clinton. Clinton's policies fucked up a lot of people, but they still held a certain decorum and respectability with the office. Right. That has gone to shit now. So I'm saying I think we need to get back to at least that, where we say, hey, this has to be at least this, and this, because it has to be this separation, because you're in a you got a bulletproof car.
He still needs to be the president.
Yeah,
the president of the United States.
That's what I'm saying. You should not be allowed to have a fucking bulletproof car and be talking shit about people. If you're gonna have a bulletproof car, bro, you should be in a different stratosphere than everybody else. Because I mean, only other people that got bulletproof cars is pimps, probably,
and the Pope.
And the Pope. That's it. The pimps, popes, and the president.
Which is funny. The one guy who can talk directly to God is the most paranoid motherfucker on the planet.
Hey man, let me see you ride with the top down. Pull a Kennedy, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But so the thing with you know, where's, I don't know, man. Like where is it going from here is going to be interesting. And that was the thing I was going to ask about the impeachment stuff. Is a lot of people keep saying, oh, well, if we did get rid of Trump, it would be horrible because we'd have President Pence. And I used to think that, but I disagree. And here's why.
You mean President Pence? President Stiff?
Yes. President Sleeping Android.
Can someone hit his reset button?
Yeah, exactly.
I think his button is off.
Jesus. I didn't touch that kid. Sorry. I swear he was 12, officer. I mean 18, officer. Here's the thing with Pence. Everyone's like, oh, because he's like a theocrat. He's you know, he'll pass religious laws and yada, whatever. The thing is that Trump's already doing the bidding of the Christian right. So it's not going to be any worse. But if we had Pence, we would have an uncharismatic guy who isn't insane like Trump is on other issues. Like you know, he wouldn't just be like calling Putin names and trying to get into war with North Korea, whatever. Right. He was not insane. He doesn't lie every 5 fucking seconds, and he doesn't have the charisma that people are attracted to. The only reason Trump is effective anywhere is because he knows how to manipulate the media, and because the people who like him like his personality because they think he's funny, or they think he's brash, or they think
he's like them.
Right. No, but I'm saying, but they enjoy that. Pence doesn't have that. No. So if we had President Pence, he would just be a way less effective Trump. Effective for what he does. Obviously, Trump's not effective, but I mean, he would be a way less effective Trump. And how much easier would he be to beat in 2020? If he was the incumbent president.
Yeah. No, most definitely. But I also feel like at some point, and this is what I mean by like, when you grow up in this country and you see these structures and you're like, oh man, this is how it's supposed to work. And to see that instantaneously torn apart in 2 years, like none of that shit matters anymore. Right. There's no respectability. None of that shit is in there anymore. Like the dude is saying, he's using mob terms like calling people rats. So it's kind of like it's
fucking rat bastard right here.
So it's kind of changed a lot of stuff. So we feel like, I think honestly, in order for us to get back to some semblance of respectability, you have to, just like this dude tore down any kind of facade of that, you have to start from the beginning again, which I don't know. Some people are like, oh man, maybe that's a good thing, which is, it's fine. I get that. We need to shake up some shit. So I feel whoever runs now, like I remember when Beto said, fuck yeah, something like that. It's like, yeah, there you go. There you go. You can curse now, man. It's almost like when you're a comedian and they tell you
that would have been the end of his career.
Oh, a long time ago.
10 years ago.
Look at Dean.
Yeah.
Dean was like, get that crazy motherfucker out of here. Get that. Stop.
I remember when that happened. And going, that's it.
Yeah. Stop with the yelling, bro.
And then it turns out later on it would have been the end. That was the end of his presidential run. But then the end of his career, didn't he? Like cheat on his wife or something like that?
Yeah, but none of that.
I mean,
matters,
that's it.
Hey, man,
he cheated on his wife.
When you cheat on 4 wives, then talk to us.
Yeah.
One, it's fine.
And pay them off.
Yeah, we're good. We're totally fine. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I honestly feel like the people coming in now, like, it's almost like I said, with being a comedian, and they tell you, okay, well, you got to do one clean show, and then the late show, you get to do whatever you want to do. As comedians, like, oh, great. All right, cool. Even if you don't have a filthy show, you're still going to be like, oh, good, I got this freedom. I can say whatever I want to say. So I think whoever comes in the office next, they will now have this leeway of, oh, man, you know what? Just don't fuck with kids. Right. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything else is pretty open.
And because the funny thing is, like, honestly, the downside is it on some, I don't know if it's a downside, but on some level, it's the left now, it's the Democrats and the liberals that are holding everybody accountable. Which it's good that we're holding people accountable, but I don't want us to go so puritanical that we become what the Christian right used to be. Yeah,
I don't think. I think we've learned our lesson. I don't think we'll. I don't think we'll make that mistake. I really don't. So. All right.
So now we're giving up. What are you doing for the war on Christmas?
I'm going shopping, bitches. No, I'm just kidding.
I am actually going shopping. Happy holidays.
Here's what I don't get, man. I honestly don't understand. I never understood this. I know this has been going on for years, that it's been a war on Christmas. They say it's a war on Christmas. But I never understood the people who get offended by that. Who gets mad at Merry Christmas? Oh, great.
Well, the thing is, nobody gets mad at Merry Christmas. That's their line that they made up. No one gets mad at that. Like, I'm an atheist. I don't get mad if you say Merry Christmas. I don't give a shit. But to me, what the issue isn't that we get mad at Merry Christmas, it's that they get mad at Happy Holidays.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Because you get the people that say...
Because what people say is they go, hey, you know what? We live in Los Angeles. We have a huge Jewish community. We have atheists. We have Muslims. Maybe say Happy Holidays because that's more encompassing. It's easier than if you're Christian. If I say... So, I mean, but there's no problem. If I come up to you and go, hey, man, Happy Holidays, does that offend you?
No.
So, but if I walked up to you and go, hey, Happy Hanukkah, does that offend you?
No.
Right. So, but it doesn't. It's useless for me to say Happy Hanukkah to you.
I got to be honest with you. At the end of the day, I'm like, do I still get gifts?
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I give a fuck about. Do I still get gifts?
I think that's the point. And when people just suggest, hey, in a super diverse area, it might be easier to say Happy Holidays because you might be talking to a Jewish person, which Merry Christmas does them nothing. I don't know any Jewish person is going to be like, I'm Jewish. Ah! But if you go Merry Christmas to a Jewish person, they'll be like, okay, Happy Hanukkah. Like, I mean, what who cares?
The problem is
you
when people
celebrate, you don't celebrate.
The people when they come in and you say, when you tell them, you say, hey, Merry, when you say Merry Christmas, and then people come back with Happy Holidays. Like, okay, can't you just say
has that ever happened?
Happy Holidays? Yes, it's happened to me a couple of times where I'm like, Merry Christmas, and they're like, Happy Holidays. I'm like, sure. To me, it's the same fucking thing.
Are you sure they're saying it that way, or maybe they're just saying it back to you like, hey, well, yeah, Happy Holidays to you.
No, they're saying it with attitude. Believe me, my attitude radar is pretty on point. It's, you know what I'm saying? Especially when I have not been drinking. Well, it is pretty there.
Anytime that from now on, if somebody says Merry Christmas, I'm just going to say Happy Hanukkah.
Say Happy Kwanzaa. See what they really say.
But here's the point. Here's for me. I mean, maybe there's a few of those people. It seems to me that it's way more disproportionate on the other side, where
I'm trying to see. We got a couple people in there. Great.
I piss people off by saying Happy Hanukkah. Yes.
Seth.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Like, I don't understand. Okay, so say I'm some Christian right-wing nut who has to. I can't say Merry Christmas no more. All right, so if I go out to you and you're Muslim and I say Merry Christmas,
who told you that?
Yeah, exactly.
Who told you?
Or whatever.
Watch my Twitter feed. Barnett. I didn't know that was fucking Muslim.
Barnett.
Hey Heather, how you doing?
Hi Barnett.
Eric.
But if Barnett, if I say to you Merry Christmas, and if you say to me Merry Christmas and I go, oh,
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Or if I say I'm not Christian, then somehow that's a war on Christmas. But if I say to you Happy Hanukkah, that same person will be like, I ain't no Jew. It's like,
yeah, see, I don't get that.
So is this a war on Hanukkah now? Like,
I don't get that, man. I think sometimes we put too much emphasis on stuff. First of all, none of this.
What is the intention?
I know, right? None of this we can control. None of it. just keep certain things simple, man. We already got too much more shit going on. Just enjoy your holiday with your friends and family. Get your free gifts.
You mean Christmas?
Yeah, I know, right? Get your free food and just enjoy this. It's weird to me that we put so much emphasis on stuff that really does not matter. It doesn't matter. Like it will not change your life if someone comes up to you and says Merry Christmas. It does not change a fucking thing in your life.
But again, I don't know anybody that cares about that. What I know, but I do know people that care if you say Happy Holidays. They freak the fuck out if you say Happy Holidays. Which is, how did they ever get past that Andy Williams song? That's what I want to. Happy Holidays. It's the war on Christmas.
Well, it's probably the same people that got mad it's cold outside.
Yeah.
It's like, which that's still the funniest thing. I'm putting this in your drink. We can do this remake all day.
We got to do the reverse of it. With he's trying to leave. She's like, "Are you sure you're not gay?"
Stop touching me there.
He's like, I've got to go away.
No means no. Sorry.
Look, lady, you're pushy.
Hold on. He said his mind's. Charlie says, my mind's triggered hard by Trump last year. Got so pissed off that she canceled Thanksgiving.
So that's what happened to Thanksgiving.
And had her. Wow. You know what, man? And that's the other thing, dude. Because we also still live in a country where we celebrate Columbus Day, even though we know Columbus didn't do the shit that they say he did.
Well, except now there's this weird. I'm gonna get shit for this, but historically accurate. Now there's this weird thing pushback that people think that we've gone completely the other direction though. Like, people want to get rid of Columbus Day, fine, whatever. I don't care. Either way is fine. But now people act like Columbus was a murderer who brought no. Most of what Columbus did was not. He didn't. I'm going to set out to murder another. Right. It's like people who followed Columbus and settlers and all the people that came. Yes, they fucked people up.
They did the murdering.
They did a lot of that. And he brought some fucked up. He brought smallpox, things like that. Wasn't on purpose. He didn't say, "I'm gonna bring some smallpox to some people." So it's like
kind of like roaches. Like I did not know these roaches were here, bro.
But now we have this weird thing that Columbus was this like evil guy that was on the way to kill people. It's like he brought a lot of shit inadvertently and probably on purpose as well. But it doesn't go from he was this hero to now he's the ultimate villain. It's somewhere in fucking between.
It's in the middle.
If we want to get rid of Columbus Day, that's fine. But don't be like, Columbus was set out to murder. And now people say Columbus is the one that's responsible for genocide. It's like, come on. You don't even know that Columbus wasn't even the first guy here. It's like,
I think we honestly, we have to come back to this point of, like you said, it's somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Like, yeah, he didn't discover all the stuff that they said he did, but he wasn't like, Predator. So I feel like I'm still cool with having a day off. Anytime I can either.
Well, now they call it, is it Indigenous People Day?
Indigenous People Day. That's cool.
I think we should call it Smallpox Day. Smallpox appreciation.
You see a smallpox mascot. Hey, come on, give me a hug.
Yeah. Would you like a blanket?
It's cold outside. See how it comes all the way back to the same thing? So I agree.
Here's a smallpox blanket.
You got a cold now. It's just, I feel like we if we're going to go this route.
I've got the vaccine.
I think we got to go back to this thing, man, of finding the middle. Because here's what people got to understand. No one that is on this planet right now has the definitive answer about anything that happened hundreds of years ago. Nobody. There may be a few 100-year-old people that are like 100, but no one's 300 years old. No one's 200 years old. No one's 400 years old. So we're just going off of what these
Bernie Sanders.
Which, again, still do not count him out. He may be there with a walker, but don't count him out. I just feel like we have to, at some point, come back to this thing of saying, listen, let's examine everything. Let's find a common ground and be realistic. Because I just saw this thing about Pancho Villa. They want to remove Pancho Villa from his statue. They want to take his statue down. And he's like, well, he came over and did a bunch of things, and yes, he represents Mexican heritage, but he shouldn't. And I'm like, okay, well then, isn't this the same country that just had marches because you want to keep federal, the Confederate people's statues up? So we have to find this balance of, let's call it what it is. If it's for historic purposes, put them in a museum. Great, go ahead.
There's also there's a difference between history, and we can't erase history. First off, you get rid of history completely.
You can't do that.
Then you forget about it. That's you'll repeat it, right? But also, there's a difference between historical preservation and monuments. When a monument is honoring somebody,
right?
But the other thing is, we do in this country. I listened to it was a black author,
which I'm lobbying, by the way, for Rick James statue.
I was listening to NPR, and there was this woman. She was an author. She's like a historian on Thomas Jefferson, and she's black. And and she talked about her struggle with the whole Thomas Jefferson thing. But she wrote this book. I wish I could remember her name. I'm going to look her up and I'll post about it. But it was a really cool interview because they were talking about, well, a lot of people have said, well, if we're going to take down these monuments of Robert E. Lee and these other people, then we need to take down Thomas Jefferson and anyone that was a slave owner. But it's like the huge difference is that we cannot forget that people not saying that it was correct, but it was a different time, and you also cannot wipe away the reason that we're doing a monument to Thomas Jefferson is all the amazing things he did for the country. We're not doing a monument to him owning slaves. Whereas the people in the South, those monuments, they fought to destroy the country and break away from the country, and they fought for the Confederacy. Right. So having them up, the monument is to their Confederacy. Right. What great did that guy do? Now, when we don't put up Thomas Jefferson's statue and go, here lies a guy who had kids with his slaves. Like
if you're going to give him a statue, you need to put all his kids in the statue.
By the way, what she was saying is that that likely, I mean, again, there's a lot of nuance because he didn't free and he didn't do a lot of things with slaves, but apparently his with Sally Hemings, apparently that was like a super legit relationship.
Wow.
Like they had multiple kids.
Where's her statue?
Yeah, right. But yeah, so it was really interesting because it was and the reason he ended up not freeing her was actually because she would have lost property rights or something like that if she was free. So he had to keep her even though she didn't do anything slave wise, but yet he also did some fucked up slave shit. Like he still had his kids. Wow. It's really bizarre. But she was chalking it up. She was saying like, you have to look at the entire thing that was going on.
Look at the totality of it. I get that, and that's why I say because you got some of these
But I wouldn't take down Thomas Jefferson's statue. That's fucking insane. Like
not take it down, but again, be very aware of what this
George Washington. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but you got to understand something, man. And this is why I tell people all the time. As much as I love this country, and I want to be very clear when I say this, I love this country. I've been all over the world. I've been to a lot of different places. There's no place I would rather live more than America. Well, with the exception of Canada and London. Those two places, I'm not going to lie. Those pretty nice places. But we also have to understand the history of this country. And when you do that, and then you put that and say, okay, well, these people made some bad decisions, which it is what it is. If we learn from these things and move forward, then that's where...
And we're doing something now.
Yeah.
That's going to be fucking looked down upon in 100 years, 200 years.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you cannot erase somebody.
Why is he wearing gray?
But you can't erase their accomplishments or ignore their accomplishments or not honor their accomplishments because of the bad things they did. I mean, if that were the case, then we should just get rid of Martin Luther King because he cheated on his wife and he was a bad person. Like,
It's funny you said that, by the way, because I had somebody try to compare Martin Luther King to Trump. And I said, exactly.
Yeah.
And I said, wait a minute. So let me get this straight. You're comparing this one affair that, again, I'm not saying it's right to cheat on your wife. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying you're comparing this one thing to the litany of things.
Yeah, no.
I said, that's where you're fucking up the history.
It's not even close. But my point is that every man, especially from different age and different times, every person has things that... that would disqualify them.
Now, one person is even though I will tell you this, man, I'm not gonna lie. When Obama was running, when he was running for office, and they do extensive background checks on all of this shit. Well, they used to.
Right.
Yeah. Apparently, they stopped about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But they didn't I kid you not, Ian. When they found nothing on Obama, I know a few black people that was like, there's nothing? There's nothing in this dude's past? So I think that, like I said, like you said, there's
no. We found out recently that he once took a picture with Louis Farrakhan.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And he used to sneak out for cigarettes.
Take down his don't give him a library.
And there's a picture of him smoking the reefer.
But you know what? Even but he admitted that though, which is cool for him. Because it was like, look, man.
You remember Clinton? I didn't inhale.
But now think about that now. Think about that statement then versus 2018 where there are dispensaries, bro, where you can just walk in. It's old ladies walking there.
And where right-wing Christians are like, so what if Trump does coke at night?
Yes. But that's what's crazy, which
in the White House
actually leads me to this other thing. What do you think about this? Where do you think that they should commute all of the sentences of the people who have weed convictions in their that are in jail for weed convictions?
Well, yeah, I think absolutely. I think there's going to be other things that's going to be the problem with that is that a lot of times there were other charges, and I'm not saying that this isn't fixable, but what they're going to say is
they'd be like, good news is we're letting you out of jail for weed. Bad news is you did kill 2 people, so you still have to stay.
Right. So, but seriously, they'll say something like, yeah, the possession of weed is fine, but when it was illegal, you transported it over borders, and that's going to stay. They're going to find things like that.
Do you think that?
They're going to say you broke the law when you knew it was against the law, so therefore you're still a criminal.
What if you?
I guarantee that because they need that fucking income.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, what did Jeff Sessions say? We have prisons with empty beds, like it's a fucking hotel.
What if you do? What if you did it from state line to state line where it's legal? So you say you sold it in California, and then you transported it over to Oregon, where it's legal in Oregon and California.
Well, it is now, but I think it's all bullshit. But I'm saying I think that they'll
find loopholes.
They'll say, but at the time it wasn't, and still they're still transporting laws. They'll find other laws, or they'll find an amount. They'll say, oh well, you know what, you're only allowed to transport X amount. There's also a big difference between, even if they were just transport. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but
no,
because they don't have. What if they were caught with like pounds and pounds, and they were like a drug dealer, basically at the time. They probably does, but they were drug dealer really. Well, nowadays, I think you have to have permits and licenses and stuff.
Yeah, you got to do all of it.
So they'd still say, well, you were doing it without a license.
Without a license.
Now maybe the sentence would become to that. What is that sentence?
It has to be way less because it's again the fact that it's such a chic thing now. It's.
Well, how many people are in jail for like 20 years or life?
For like a joint.
3 strikes.
Yeah. Did you hear about the dude that his 3rd strike was still in an ice cream sandwich, bro? They put him back in jail for a fucking ice cream sandwich.
Well, this is back in the day with civil rights. One of the, I guess he was found one of the members of Black Panther Party, but the Black Panther Party. but George Jackson, he went to prison. Chicago guy. He went to prison for stealing $73 from when he was like. He was watching his little brother. He was taking care of his little brother who was, like a 11, 12, 13, I don't know, like that. And George Jackson was like young, like in his teens, I believe. And he stole, I think it was $73 from a liquor store. And I think he had some past, he was a little kind of a hoodlum type dude. Mm-hmm. I think he had some past.
When you have other stuff on there, then it definitely is.
So he went to jail and he was advised to plead guilty. And they said, just to plead guilty and you'll get a lighter sentence. So his sentence was 1 year to life.
Get the fuck.
So he ended up dying, I think, 11, I forget if it was 11 or 13. He ended up dying in prison, shot by a guard, trying to escape the week before he was paroled. When he knew he was being paroled.
Man, don't even, all right.
Because he was so... and he spent 11 years, I think, in solitary confinement because of his, he educated himself. It's my favorite book I've ever read. It's called Soledad Brother.
Well, what they say is the most dangerous black man is the educated one. But,
especially back then. And he was getting really, he was making a lot of waves from inside.
Here's the thing. I'll tell you a quick story.
We got to get doing our thing.
We do what?
We're at 15.
Okay, cool.
So,
you have to know your area. Like I remember I went back to Chicago, which by the way we'll talk about that in a second because I don't know if you saw that they released that Chicago is not even the murder capital, but we'll talk about that.
Wait, by the way, it hasn't been for it. Really
no, I know, but you know what the number one is St. Louis. But we'll come back.
But the thing is, I was posting this the other day. If you go by per capita, I think it was not last year and the year before. There was 2015. I think it was in the top 5. But per capita, it's not even in the top 10.
St. Louis.
And per numbers, it's not even number 1.
Nope.
But if you go per capita, which is what matters, it's not even. I think it's not even top 10.
But according to Fox News,
St. Louis,
it's Chicago, Baltimore, Chicago, and Chicago.
Yeah. No, but in reality, it's St. Louis, Baltimore, and I'm trying to remember what the other one's also Missouri. So Kansas City. There's another something like that. There's 3 that are always the top 3 every fucking time.
I'll tell you this real quick. So I was in Chicago visiting a friend of mine. I grew up with him, lived right down the street from me. So I went to go visit, and like about maybe a minute or 2 after I got there, and we were hanging out, somebody else came over. The dude pulled out 2 huge duffel bags of weed.
Right.
Like huge duffel bags. And when I tell you, by the time he pulled out that first one, I said, okay, man, I have to talk to you later. I got to go. Because again, my paranoia kicked in and I was like, man, I got to leave. Because if somebody were to raid this house right now, there's no way in the world they're going to believe that I had nothing to do with this. Like, I just showed up like, sure, sir, you just came over to visit your friend right as he was getting these duffel bags of weed.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, I am not about that no snitching policy. I will fucking tell on you, everybody, your whole family, bro. So I had to leave because I did not want to have that type of situation even be in question. That's why I say these guys have to understand that even if they do make it legal, even though they have made it legal, it's not saying that, like, you know what's crazy? It's like I'll see these kids out here, man, like on the street, like rolling joints. Yeah. On the street. I'm like, dude, I get that it's legal, but man, come on. What are you doing?
I will say that's the one thing. I don't want to sound like an old curmudgeon or whatever, but the one thing that drives me crazy is that I see, now that it's legal, everyone just smokes weed walking down the street, and I see kids walking to school smoking weed. Not that I know, so many kids smoke weed on their lunch break.
No, but they have a study that says that again, and I got nothing against weed smoke as long as it's legal and you're doing it in a legal way. But they said your brain has a harder time to develop between the ages up anything younger than 25. If you're smoking weed, anything younger than 25, you have a chance of damaging your brain.
Well, and also, I mean, or I see people walking to work smoking weed, and I'm like, imagine if you saw someone walking down a kid going to school,
yeah,
or someone walking down the street going to work, drinking a bottle of tequila.
Yeah, like
you can't go to work drunk.
But let me ask you this: since we're in this area, what jobs do you think it should be okay for you to smoke weed while you're at work? Well, what would you say your top? I can tell you anything in the restaurant industry.
Let's save that for the last 10.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
All right, so look, you guys, we got to get ready to wrap this up here. Thank you for sticking around.
And we'll do some impressions, but we'll come up with the best jobs.
The best jobs to have
smoking weed in the next 10 minutes.
Yes.
Our last 10 minutes, which is our Patreon, which is $2 a month.
That's right.
Go to patreon.com/critical and thinking.
Critical and thinking.
You also get the video version. If you're listening to us on the podcast, if you're watching us live, you already saw the video version, but hey, you can watch it again.
That's right.
So you get the video version, you get the last 10 minutes. And
check us. You can find me on comediantybarnett.com, which has the links to the Facebook, the Instagram, and the Twitter. So it's comediantybarnett.com, has the tour schedule and all of that stuff on there. Anything you want to write me, I'll write you back, but don't write me no bullshit. Do not write me no bullshit.
And I'm IanHarrisComedian.com. Same thing. Everything's on there. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast.
Right.
You're listening now. Give us a review. Give us a rating, please. It helps us a lot. Tell your friends. Share it.
Let us know what you want us to talk about. We'll do it on the next show.
Email us, Facebook message us, Instagram, whatever. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Let us know if you have any suggestions. And again, please like, rate, review, and
That's right.
share this because we want to get this out there to as many people as possible, and keep knocking down these walls of this Trump. All right, guys, we'll see you. Stick around for the next 10 minutes. Patreon.com/criticalandthinking, and everyone else, we'll see you next time. Oh, we're probably gonna be off till the new year.
Yeah, is this the last one of the year?
Last one of the year.
It's the last one of the year.
So we'll see you guys in the new year. Everyone else.
Remember how you would do that in school? In school, you like, I'm not coming back to school till a year.
Yeah.
Because I see your ass next year.
Next year.